This video is all about making inferences. By the end of this video, you will be able to define the word inference, define textual evidence, read closely in a text to make inferences, and analyze an author's words to determine multiple pieces of textual evidence that support your inference. You might be asking, what exactly is an inference? The fact is, you make inferences every single day, usually without even realizing it. For example, if you sit down next to your best friend at lunch and she moves to another table, you might infer that she's very angry at you. Or if you get home from school and your dog gets up and starts licking your face at the door, you can infer that your dog is happy to see you. Basically, an inference is an educated guess that we make based on the information that is right in front of us, combined with our past experiences. These past experiences can be called background knowledge, or if you want to get really fancy, you can say schema. Inferences are definitely required in everyday life, but they are also required when we are reading, watching movies, and even listening to music. On your Post-it note, I want you to list 3 inferences that you can make from this picture. Good readers are constantly making inferences as they read literature or informational texts. This is because writers don't always tell us everything explicitly. They want us to think a little bit about what we are reading. For example, let's read the first page of Seedfolks. Follow along as I read it aloud. I stood before our family altar. It was dawn. No one else in the apartment was awake. I stared at my father's photograph, his thin face stern, lips latched tight, his eyes peering permanently to the right. I was 9 years old and still hoped that perhaps his eyes might move, might notice me. The candles and the incense sticks lit the day before to make his death anniversary had burned out. The rice and meat offered him were gone. After the evening feast, past midnight, I'd been awakened by my mother's crying. My own tears had then come as well, but for a different reason. Notice that these 2 paragraphs don't tell us explicitly that Kim's father has passed away and they are still mourning his loss. But we immediately make that inference because of the details that the author has provided. The author tells us that Kim stood at the family altar staring at her father's picture. She was unable to sleep and was awakened by her mother's crying. We know that from personal experience, people cry when they lose someone they love. So we know that Kim and her mom are still very upset about the death of her father. These details that lead us to what we call textual evidence. Textual evidence is specific information from a text that we use to support our inferences. Now that you can understand how to make an inference and use textual evidence to support them, you are ready to make inferences while you read.
Created using Powtoon.